Broadcasting live from the Newsmax studio in New York City, here is Steve Malzberg.
All right, folks, welcome back. And, you know, sometimes you get unexpected visitors, and I was thrilled when I was just walking around aimlessly in the lobby and saw these two gentlemen and grabbed them, and here they are, and we welcome in the co-hosts of Ungar and Steele, or Steele and Ungar, as it might more appropriately be named. See, they were fighting about it before we went on. It's Steele and Ungar. It's on Sirius XM Radio on Saturdays, tomorrow morning, as a matter of fact, 11 a.m. Eastern. Check it out, and we welcome in Michael Steele, the former head of the RNC, and our friend Rick Ungar. Hello, gentlemen.
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing, Steve?
I never know. You see, you walk around the halls and just wander
in the neighborhood,
around.
Man.
You never know who's going to be walking around. Okay, first of all,
we're breaking in our new comedy act at the Cope.
right.
We're hoping everybody will come by.
Don't forget to tip your waiter.
I want to get to the what's going on with Cantor and the race for his replacement, but I do want you to weigh in, Michael, on what's going on in Iraq. And, you know, there were those who are coming to the defense. We had Dave Swerdlick on earlier from the Root.com who said Obama can't be blamed for this. It's Bush. I mean, there's no way. We had David Ignatius yesterday who said Obama was handed an Iraq where this should not be the result.
Well, I think that's largely true. I mean, I think that at the end of the day, the backward-looking effect of all of this is not going to solve the current problem, and it certainly won't address and nor give an answer to the question, you know, what does Iraq look like when we're done? We're already beginning to see that the reality of not answering that question on the front end is beginning to bite this administration very much as I think it would have bitten the Bush administration. The idea that you're going to continue to prosecute this matter the way we have is clearly not the solution. We have now the emergence of ISIS and this new Iranian threat, a new Islamic threat that is, quite frankly, a group that got kicked out of Al-Qaeda because they were so hard-edged. And so I think that this new dynamic poses a real problem for the administration. The second part of that is you got to have a broader plan that encapsulates not just what the U.S. interest is, but what the interests are in the region. As you can see, as you look at the map, the spread of ISIS from Syria and affecting Turkey, and certainly Iraq and other parts of the region, it's going to be a real problem.
Rick, is Obama blameless here, as some are claiming?
I don't know if you can say he's blameless. I think there's enough blame to go around. Look, the extent of Obama's blame comes down to what you believe on one issue. Was he responsible for not negotiating hard enough to keep troops in Iraq? At which point you could argue that had we had some troops there, maybe it would be different today. Or, I got to be honest, my own take on this is while there was some political upside to the president in getting us out fully, I think that the Iranians have been calling the shots with the Maliki government since day one, and there was no way the Iranians were going to let him enter into that kind of an agreement with us. So I don't think either side was particularly interested in continuing. That said, I really wish we would. I know how much fun it is to play the blame game, but folks, we got a very serious problem here. And to the extent that we have any great minds in Washington,
you have good faith.
Yeah, I mean, I would much rather they'd be focused on what do we do now, because we are in a real pickle here.
Yeah, and it's going to get worse before it gets better. And of course, now Iran is toying with the idea of offering to work with us to solve this problem. And why, Michael, why do I just feel that this is something Barack Obama would welcome and praise?
Well, I think there's some truth to that. I think, ironically, that the president may find a safe harbor in Iran, which actually plays, I think, very well to Rick's point, into Iran's hands ultimately. Look, can you imagine Iran being the savior here? Iran helping the United States with its problem in Iraq? It's just the height of irony, and given all of the tension that has existed up to this point between the United States and Iran, Iran has a long-term strategy that has a lot to do with controlling what happens in the Middle East. They will use this opportunity to further that strategy, and the U.S. needs to be smart, not just about how to deal with Iraq, but especially smart how to involve a very shifty, crafty Iran.
All right, I want to switch gears, guys, to some news that you made this morning on Morning Joe, Michael, and of course, as former RNC chair, what you say holds a lot of weight on this matter. Majority Leader Eric Cantor lost, and Majority Leader Eric Cantor announced that he's resigning that position effective July 31st, and now there's nearly a candidate to replace him. There was some Tea Party expectations, and then there was Sessions, and that neither one of those came to fruition. So you got Kevin McCarthy, who in my view, and I think in your view, I don't want to put words in your mouth, Michael, is just another extension of John Boehner, just another Eric Cantor. It's not going to sit well with the Tea Party. And now Raul Labrador says he's in. What do you see happening here?
I think that's a good thing, and I salute Congressman Labrador for getting into this race. I think it's important that this get worked out within the caucus, that those conservative voices that have held the line when there are those in leadership who wanted to cave in and buck the trend, to hold back on spending and things like that. You've got to include those folks at the table. The Tea Party caucus does have a voice here. I think they have a play here, and I think Raul appropriately represents that. At the end of the day, McCarthy is quintessential establishment, and you really are beginning to hear within the rank and file, not just the caucus, but out on the streets across America, a lot of conservatives are saying, wait a minute, didn't you take the lesson from what happened in Virginia? Haven't you taken the lesson from what has happened in other races around the country? That we want to be a part of this process, and we want to be able to have some voice in how the party governs going forward. And I think that's a battle that needs to get fleshed out.
Rick, someone on your side, you're just watching this and smiling and laughing, or what?
Well, actually, I mean, look, I think it's probably pretty safe to say that the Republicans in Congress are slightly more interested in Michael's opinion than my own when it comes to their.
I wouldn't be too sure.
Well, they're not asking you. I'm asking you.
but I do kind of agree. Look, I was shocked that McCarthy wrapped it up so quickly, and that the Tea Party caucus was backing off so easily. I'm a big believer in the old adage, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. If I were John Boehner, and we all understand that I don't have the suntan for it, but if I were in his shoes, I absolutely would have been looking for the right Tea Party congressman to fill that job. I was shocked that it wasn't happening. I don't know if Labrador can win, but they ought to at least put on a show.
But Michael, we got 30 seconds. Do you see any way Labrador could win, or is it going to be McCarthy?
I think he can build this thing. Look, they shortened the timetable on this to give the establishment the advantage. I think Raul coming in now turns the tables a little bit. We'll see what kind of a game plan he can put together on the field.
But if you had a bet right now.
If I had a bet right now, I'd honestly say it's 50-50, because
really?
I say that because I don't know exactly how the caucus is going to break, but I suspect early they'll stand strong with him.
All right. Well, listen, guys, a pleasure speaking to both of you. Michael Steele, Rick Ungar, the co-hosts of Steele and Ungar on SiriusXM. Check them out tomorrow is Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern. We're coming back. Don't go away.